0.001% of what you might know. I'm 100% in agreement of that. I may be zilch in my understanding. So when you approach me with that space that you don't know this, you don't know and matter, so how will you understand antimatter, for example? Or you don't know what is being done only, so how can you have an opinion on it? So for example, I'll give you an example. So can I give you a visual example if you don't mind?
I'll be able to visualize, yeah, you keep speaking.
So let's assume.
However, I could, just in case you can understand what I'm saying. However, I can tell you that whatever you are attempting to express right now, I am in the state of knowing that by now because you've said plenty about it. So whatever you're trying to express, fundamentally I'm clear about what you're saying. And the reason I don't choose to say anything is, the good news is that I had some realization about what I'm versus, and I thought the world will be testimony to what I ended up expressing, and what you ended up expressing, and then there will be comments on the video.
Exactly, but that would also be from a static space of analyzing data which was shared in a video.
Whereas what I'm talking solace. What I'm talking about moments of solace.
It is experience.
And they will say, why is this girl saying science and science? Where did Nishchal talk about science?
No, I was referring to what we spoke earlier.
That's also not, because Nishchal is, how can Nishchal be anything about science? He has nothing to do with science. He studied commerce and he never opened a book of science after that. So what is it that Nishchal ended up expressing? Some would say, oh, this was poetry. But that would be the most beautiful comments. And I assure you, in this video, the part where I said poetry, I'm going to take that off so I don't influence anybody to make that comment. And you'll see so many of them would address it like that. This was absolutely incredible poetry. And I have a clear vision of those kind of comments coming to this. And that would also be the time when you will realize that the wall that we create by calling something science, anyway, I choose not to speak anything in this matter. But I have one question to ask you.
Is it on?
Yeah. I have one question to ask you. Please describe the meaning of the word enlightenment.
I was telling you an example of something. Can I get back to that, please?
Can you tell me the meaning of the word enlightenment?
Can I go back to what I was doing?
Yeah. But I didn't interrupt at all.
But you did. No, I was giving you an example.
But I've understood everything that you're saying, so you can continue. Sure, please go ahead.
But you did override what I was doing.
Please go ahead.
So I want to go back to that point.
Go ahead. You don't have to tell me the meaning of enlightenment. You don't have to tell me the meaning of enlightenment.
You're the only one. So I was saying that how...
Are you saying you're enlightened?
I'm not saying I'm enlightened.
No, I'm asking you, are you saying yes or no? Are you enlightened?
There are moments of when I am.
Are you permanently enlightened?
No, you can't be. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. I'm saying I'm permanently enlightened. Now the world will figure out. Go on, please. We had a question, please, before each of us.
Yeah.
You have given your answer. I have given my answer.
Yeah.
But now please continue.
Yeah, I feel that there can't be a state of being permanently enlightened. That is my view. I could be wrong according to you.
But not everybody who has known anything about Buddha, would say, no, you're damn wrong. Everybody who's known anything about Prophet Muhammad would say, you're damn wrong. Everybody who's known anything about Guru Nanak would say, you're damn wrong. Anyway, go ahead, please.
Yeah. It could be that.
But please go ahead. Please go back to what you were in the rhythm of.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to alter your point of interests. Continue.
I was trying to say, actually to you, in our prior conversation, which there is no reference on this video or recording, but it was about you talking about researchers and new findings which are leading to coherence or corresponding with your spiritual understanding.
Yeah, that this is not science, this is poetry.
Yeah. No, not that.
Now that's what they will come to realize because I exist.
No. Allow me to phrase that.
Yes.
So
this is not a matter of science. They will just suddenly recognize that because of me.
Yes, you can say that.
So there were no expressions of science. So what I'm expressing is a language that is a language of that truth, not perception. That's the difference here. But I didn't mean to say that to you. Because we are now having a conversation and not a monologue by you or me. So I ended up saying my part. That's what would be
I am just trying to address as someone.
So one would say that, that's right. There is truth in it, the matter, and there are perceptions in the matter. and we just ended up hearing from Nishchal the truth. That is what the outcome I hope for. Preseed is able to deliver.
I understand you hoping that.
Preseed is able to deliver because I have completely become a permanently enlightened man.
I don't believe there is such.
Yeah, sure, no problem. But such a great video, because I would have never had this natural moment of saying this to the world. So much gratitude that you made me say this to the world. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
All I was saying is in reference to our earlier discussion where we were talking about progress that is happening in science, to understand that what they are seeking is not leading to what they are finding answers to, and how you drew a parallel to that, sharing with me that it's not in what they are looking, but it's in actually what it isn't that they are looking. So from that lens, I was talking about faith, where I said that that's not the medium according to me, faith is the medium, which I shared earlier.
Yeah, that's clear to me.
And I was just actually giving you a representation of that, meaning if there is a pizza, and this is one piece of that pizza, and this is where you're actually looking at position, like you said, local or physical location of something, and here you're looking at it thinking this is the object to be scrutinized or assessed or dissected. But the truth is that it's not about this, it's actually about the rest of the pizza. It's actually about what you're not looking at but is there. Are you understanding? But it is also part of that design. That is what I was trying to tell you or share with you in a visual example. So science may be doing that, but faith is not about that, it is about the other. So because faith is about the other, even though you don't know about science, you can still have a much elevated view and understanding, because the medium is only different. Like for example, I'll share one point with you. I feel, or I understand that our intellect is one tool. Intelligence, our analytical ability comes from observing fact, and the facts that we observe are coming from our environment. So we are limited to the context of examining fact, which is in our environment, right? But there is more than our environment. There is more than what is influencing the environment that we have access to, and that is where faith steps in. So what I'm trying to say to you is, when we are analyzing fact, we are using our tool, which is intelligence. And what intelligence is doing is analyzing. And when we are analyzing, we're analyzing static data. So it comes from a reference point, which is moot, which is still static. So it cannot come with consciousness. It cannot come where there is the energy of creation, where God flows, where there is that rhythm of, connection with your creator. That has to come in the being of it, which is what? Which is experience, which cannot come from the mental function of a human being. So when in the chronology of a human evolution, man might come to that point of finding answers through intellect, through reason. But that is actually not the tool. The tool is actually something which is higher than that state. And that is the realm of faith. And that it defies all logic, and it is another level altogether. And when one reaches that level, it is also still not a constant, stagnant position to be in that space. It is more like you're jumping up and touching the ceiling, but you're touching it once, you're experiencing that, and you're coming back down. Our human existence dabbles between that spectrum of being in the static and rising to a point where you can touch the ceiling, see that through faith, and come back down. And the more experiences like you have of this nature over a period of time can bring that like a seesaw leaning in that other direction, and you can then be more in the faith side. But it is something that will take time and experience and constant conscious awareness to be propelling yourself in that direction and not leading on your intellect and logic.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to say something on the camera about there is nothing like temporary or permanent enlightenment. There is enlightenment or there is not.